On December 25, 2024, as families around the world celebrated Christmas, a day meant for joy, togetherness, and peace, a terrifying event happened in Israel. The festive atmosphere was shattered by an unexpected and violent occurrence. A loud roar broke the peaceful holiday quiet, sending shockwaves through the community. The tranquility of the day was replaced with fear and confusion. The Houthi rebels, a strong group fighting in Yemen's civil war, launched a powerful missile called the Palestine II. This group, known for their resilience and determination, had been a significant force in the ongoing conflict. It was aimed directly at Israel, a country already on high alert due to the ongoing tensions in the region. The missile's trajectory was clear, and its intent was unmistakable. This missile was a sign of the Houthis' anger and power, and it could have caused a lot of damage and fear. The potential for destruction was immense, and the psychological impact on the people was profound. The Palestine II, thought to be a very fast missile, was a dangerous new development in the fighting. Its speed and advanced technology made it a formidable weapon in the Houthis' arsenal. Its advanced technology, meant to avoid defense systems, was a serious threat to Israel. The missile's ability to evade detection and interception added a new layer of danger to the conflict. Launching it on Christmas Day seemed like a message: the Houthis would attack Israel, even on a day of peace. The timing of the attack was symbolic, highlighting the relentless nature of the conflict. This wasn't the first time. The region had seen numerous attacks over the years, each one escalating the tension and fear among the people. In the weeks before, they had launched many missiles and drones trying to disrupt the peace and scare people. The frequency and intensity of these attacks had been increasing, causing widespread anxiety. Just days earlier, 16 people were hurt in the city of Ashkelon, showing the real human cost of this growing conflict. The injuries and destruction left a lasting impact on the community. These attacks, getting bigger and bolder, showed a dangerous pattern. The fighting, once limited to one area, was now threatening the whole region. The escalation of violence was a clear indication that the conflict was far from over, and the future remained uncertain. Right after the launch, the Israeli Defense Forces jumped into action, showcasing their readiness and efficiency. Soldiers quickly prepared their equipment, and military vehicles roared into motion, heading towards strategic locations. Loud air raid sirens wailed, piercing the calm of the city and sending people running for safety. The streets, once bustling with daily life, turned into scenes of urgency and fear, as families hurried to find shelter. Schools, businesses and homes emptied as everyone rushed to bomb shelters. Their holiday celebrations suddenly stopped. The festive atmosphere was replaced by a tense silence, as the community braced for the unknown. Israel's famous missile defense system, the Iron Dome, was ready. This advanced system, a symbol of technological prowess, stood as a silent guardian, prepared to intercept any incoming threats. This system of radars and interceptors, tested in battle and always watching, was designed to stop incoming threats. The radar units scanned the skies continuously, while the interceptors stood by, ready to launch at a moment's notice. As the Palestine II flew towards Israel, the Iron Dome calculated its path with precision. Operators monitored radar screens, tracking the missile's trajectory and preparing for the critical moment of interception. Then, an interceptor missile shot into the sky to meet the incoming threat. The launch was swift and decisive, a testament to the system's efficiency and the operator's skill. The explosion lit up the night sky, showing the dangerous game happening above. The bright flash was a stark reminder of the constant vigilance required to protect the nation. The Israeli military confirmed the interception. In a statement, they assured the public that the threat had been neutralized and the missile was destroyed before it could cause any harm. They said the missile was stopped before it could reach Israel. Detailed diagrams and footage of the interception were shared, highlighting the effectiveness of the Iron Dome system. The immediate danger was over, but the incident reminded everyone of the constant threat to Israel and the possibility of falling debris. People cautiously looked up at the sky, aware that even a successful interception could have dangerous consequences. It showed how dangerous the situation was and the constant tension in everyday life. The presence of military forces and the ever-present threat of attacks created an atmosphere of perpetual vigilance, affecting the daily lives of everyone in the region. The December 25th attack wasn't a one-time thing. It was a stark reminder of the ongoing conflict that has been simmering for years. It was the latest in a series of attacks by the Houthis against Israel. These attacks have been increasing in frequency and intensity, causing widespread concern. Supported by Iran, the Houthis see Israel as an enemy because Israel is friends with Saudi Arabia. This alliance has only fueled the Houthis' resolve to target Israel. Their anger at Israel, based on both beliefs and strategy, had grown stronger in recent months. The Houthis' rhetoric has become more aggressive, and their actions more daring. The attacks, once rare, were becoming more dangerous. Each missile strike not only caused physical damage but also heightened the psychological toll on the people of Israel. The Houthis, with more weapons and seemingly not worried about other countries' disapproval, seemed to want more fighting. Their growing arsenal indicated a long-term strategy to sustain the conflict. Their missiles, even when intercepted, showed their power and ability to scare Israel. The interceptions, while successful, did not eliminate the threat entirely. This was worrying for Israel and its allies. The constant threat of missile attacks required continuous vigilance and strained resources. The attacks could make an already unstable region even worse, possibly pulling other countries into the conflict. The potential for a broader regional war loomed large. The world, already dealing with many problems, now faced a possible bigger conflict in the Middle East, one that could cause a huge war. The international community watched with bated breath, hoping for a resolution but preparing for the worst. The Houthi attacks, especially the one on Christmas, made Israel angry and determined. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu promised a quick and strong response. He said the attacks would not be ignored and that Israel would protect its people and its land. Netanyahu's words were serious. After an earlier attack that hurt civilians, he ordered the Israeli military to destroy Houthi infrastructure. This was a big change. Israel wasn't just going to defend itself anymore, it was going to attack the Houthis directly. This decision, while popular in Israel, was risky. It could make the fighting much worse, but for Netanyahu, doing nothing wasn't an option. The Houthi missile attacks on Israel changed the Yemeni civil war. What started as a fight inside Yemen had now spread, threatening to pull the whole region into a bigger war. The Houthis, stronger with weapons and support from Iran, were not just fighting in Yemen anymore. Israel, worried about Iran's growing power, saw the attacks as a serious problem. They believed Iran was using the Houthis to cause trouble and threaten Israel. The Houthis, armed by Iran, were seen as a tool for Iran to spread its influence. This mix of alliances and enemies happening during the Yemeni civil war made the situation very dangerous. The conflict, once limited to Yemen, could now bring in other countries, maybe starting a much larger war. This showed how connected things are in the Middle East, where small events can quickly become huge problems. Just like Netanyahu promised, Israel attacked important Houthi locations in Yemen. These precise attacks aimed to stop the Houthis from launching more missiles. The Israeli military, using advanced technology and intelligence, targeted places important to the Houthis' military. One target was the port of Hodeidah, a crucial entry point for aid into Yemen. The Houthis were accused of using the port for military purposes, making it a key part of their supplies. The Israeli attacks, while trying to avoid hurting civilians, aimed to stop weapons and supplies from reaching the Houthis. Besides Hodeidah, Israel also attacked places in Sana'a, Yemen's capital, and other spots where the Houthis made and stored missiles. These secret attacks, often not talked about by Israel, aimed to weaken the Houthis' military power. Israel's attacks in Yemen, while important, had a serious cost. Even precise attacks risked hurting civilians, adding to the suffering of the Yemeni people. The conflict, already a humanitarian disaster, could get even worse, with ordinary people caught in the middle. The attacks on Hodeidah, while targeting military sites, also disrupted aid, making things worse in Yemen. The port, vital for millions of Yemenis needing food and medicine, became a victim of the fighting. The world, already trying to help Yemen, condemned the violence and asked for peace. The United Nations and world leaders urged everyone to protect civilians and find a peaceful solution, but these calls for peace seemed to be ignored. As 2024 ended, Yemen was still in a dangerous and uncertain situation. The Houthi attacks on Israel and Israel's response showed how easily peace could be broken. The fighting, once inside Yemen, had spread, threatening the whole region. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict made things even more complicated. The Houthis, using this conflict to their advantage, said their attacks on Israel were to support the Palestinians, making things even worse. The world, dealing with many problems and disagreeing on how to help Yemen, seemed unable to stop the violence. The United Nations struggled to find a solution because the fighting groups wouldn't cooperate. The Houthi attacks on Israel and the Israeli attacks in Yemen showed how dangerous and unpredictable the Middle East was. The conflict, fueled by old problems, different beliefs, and political rivalries, didn't seem to be ending. The future was dangerous. The fighting could get much worse. If the conflict continued, it could pull in other countries, causing a huge war with terrible results. The world faced a difficult task. Finding peace in Yemen and stopping more fighting would require a lot of work and cooperation. The job was huge, but the risks were too big to ignore. The future of Yemen, the Middle East, and maybe even the world depended on it.